again, once again, once again, once again, once again. Starting from scratch like when DJs battle. You want a beef? I throw a cheesesteak at you. I'm a natural from South Orange Avenue's West District with a couple of spliffs, drinks, and a bag or two.
Hey, what's up guys? I'm Short Fuse, and today I'm going to be bringing you a beginner's guide to the King of Fighters 13 trials. I'm going to start things off with Kula, who's been one of my favorite characters since the first appearance in King of Fighters 2000. Her trials are on the hard side as far as King of Fighters 13 standards go, but if you play through the NES era and especially 2002, Neo Wave, and Unlimited Match, you'll feel right at home. Her moveset, timing, juggle, and cancel techniques haven't changed much. She retains most of her moves from previous games with a few exceptions. At the core, she's pretty much the same as in King of Fighters 2001 and onwards, not accounting for the new engine and gameplay mechanics introduced in King of Fighters 13, of course. Now, there's a lot of information out there. Everybody's got their own way of doing things, and there's always more than one way to achieve the same goal. What I want to do with this guide is condense all that information into one long-ass tutorial and cover the material from every angle. This is a beginner's guide, so I'm going to try to keep the technical jargon to a minimum and explain things in great detail. But before attempting these, you should have a basic understanding of 2D fighting game mechanics and terminology. I will use terms such as quarter circle backwards, dragon punch motion, buffering, X, links, cancels, etc. You need to know what these are in order to understand these tutorials. In addition, I will sometimes use the number pad method of visualization, or whatever you want to call it, because it's clear to read and it saves us a lot of time. Think of it as the number pad on your keyboard, where each number corresponds to a direction on the joystick, 5 being neutral, 6 being forward, 4 being back, and so on and so forth. So a quarter circle forward motion translated to the number pad will be 2, 3, 6. Down, down, forward, forward. Also, King of Fighters 13 has a tutorial mode you should check out. It explains all the basics, so if you're new to King of Fighters or fighting games in general, that's the place to go first. One more thing before we begin, I suggest you try to mess around with these trials yourself, and once you should eventually get stuck on something, come check this guide out. You need to be familiar with what's happening in the trial, otherwise what I'll be saying here won't make much sense and it will just confuse you. Think of it as a supplement to the work you've already done on your own. And even if you already completed a certain trial on your own, you can still come here and maybe find an easier way of doing it, a shortcut, a different technique, whatever. Just remember to be patient and don't give up when things get too complicated. These are tough to do, so don't be too hard on yourself if you don't get it right away. Alright, enough chit chat, let's get it started. Okay, here we go, trial 1. I'm not going to be wasting too much time on this one since it's very basic stuff, but it does give you a good feel for a light attack timing. After the 2 crouching light kicks, I go into neutral light kick and then quickly do a dragon punch. You can go forward light kick if you want and then just finish it off with a down, down forward punch, but it's not necessary since the timing isn't that strict. Trial 2. The heavy punch, forward light punch are done in quick succession. Do it as fast as you please, there's not any timing involved. After the 1-inch punch connects, do a quarter circle backwards light kick and follow up with a forward heavy kick. After that, there's a distinct pause before the dragon punch. Make sure you don't do it right away. Wait till you see Kula getting into a standing up animation. In this trial, we're going to be doing a jump-in heavy kick, followed by a heavy punch, forward light punch done in quick succession, as we did in trial 2, and finish with a quarter circle forward, X punch. King of Fighters combo system is not always done in real time, Some combinations have a slight dial-a-combo feel to them, meaning some moves like the 1-inch punch have a delay between the time you press the input and the time the move actually connects, which gives you the time to start the motion for the next move before the first move even makes contact. So as soon as you press forward light punch, you can start doing the quarter circle forward motion, regardless of what's happening on screen. Notice how the 1-inch punch hasn't even connected and I'm already doing the quarter circle forward motion. Trial 4 has a considerable spike in difficulty. If you're not familiar with this kind of shortcuts, this can be tough, so I suggest we split it into 2 parts. Work on each part individually, and once we get them both down, we combine them together to form the combo. So, the first part we're going to be working on is the crouching light kick, standing light kick, dragon punch. However, it's not a 6-2-3 dragon punch. This dragon punch has to be done by doing a half circle backwards forward punch. So 6, 3, 2, 1, 4, 6 punch. It has to be done in a swift and clean motion. Immediately after you do the standing light kick, start the half circle backwards forward motion and then punch. Keep practicing until it becomes second nature. The second part we're going to be working on is the dragon punch super cancel. This is the reason why we went with a half circle backwards forward punch instead of the forward down forward punch. If you're not familiar with fighting game conventions, your initial instinct might be to do the regular dragon punch and then quickly do a half circle backwards punch, but that's not going to work. Instead, we're going to be using the half circle backwards we used to do the dragon punch as buffer for the super. So we get 2 birds with 1 stone. The half circle backwards forward punch will give us both the dragon punch and the first of the 2 half circle backward motion required to make the super come out. All there's left to do is finish with a half circle backwards punch. I'm not gonna lie, the whole thing has to be done rather quickly. Now let's combine the 2 techniques we've learned and do the full combo. Crouching light kick, standing light kick, immediately followed by half circle backwards forward heavy punch, half circle backwards punch, and we're done. Trial 5 is where things start getting interesting. You'll immediately notice that Kula's jump heavy punch does not behave like most jumping heavy attacks do. It has to be pressed when she's at the summit of the jump's arc, give or take a few frames, or else it won't connect. It's a little unusual, so you might need to practice to acclimatize to the new timing. Another thing you absolutely must learn before attempting this trial is the dragon punch half circle backwards kick cancel. Now there's 3 ways to do this. Method 1. You just do a regular dragon punch canceled into quarter circle backwards kick. So 6, 2, 3 punch, 2, 1, 4 kick. Method 2. You do a half circle backwards forward punch, half circle backwards kick. So 6, 3, 2, 1, 4, 6 punch, 3, 2, 1, 4 kick. Method 3. You go forward, down forward punch, and then half circle backwards kick. So 6, 3, 2, 6 punch, 3, 2, 1, 4 kick. The idea behind cancels is that you make the second move come out before the animation of the first move finishes. You need to master this technique because it will come in handy later on in this trial. So now that that's out of the way, we can begin with the actual trial. After the jump heavy punch connects, we're gonna do the heavy punch forward light punch in quick succession like always, followed by a quarter circle forward light punch. This will temporarily freeze the dummy and send him airborne. After that, you're gonna have plenty of time to catch him midair with a quarter circle backwards light kick chained into forward light kick. This will send the dummy in the air again, and now comes the part we talked about before. The Dragon Punch quarter circle backwards kick cancel. Pick one of the 3 methods and go for it. But be aware, the timing is kinda strict. You need to catch Takuma on his way down with the Dragon Punch on one of the last frames possible, otherwise it won't work. Don't rush it. Make a conscious effort to take a slight pause before starting the Dragon Punch motion. So, delay the Dragon Punch a little and cancel it into quarter circle backwards X kick and chain into forward heavy kick. And when Kula gets in her stand-up animation, do a quarter circle backwards heavy kick, followed by a quarter circle backwards light kick, chained into forward light kick, and finish with a quarter circle backwards punch. Before we get to the second part, I feel like I should say something about the right way to hold a stick. Do not hold the joystick the way I'm holding it, unless that's what feels natural to you. It's very uncomfortable and it makes everything hard and awkward to execute. The only reason why I'm holding the joystick like a teacup is so that I'm not covering it with my palm and you can see the motions more clearly. I'm also riding the gate as much as I can so that you can see the full range of motion and make up what I'm doing on screen. There is no right or wrong way to hold a stick, but chances are the teacup style is not the right choice for you. Also, there's nothing wrong with riding the gate if it helps you with the execution, but in the long run, it's a counterproductive habit that you should try to avoid. Trial 6 introduces some new techniques as well. The first thing that needs to become second nature is the dash dragon punch. It seems like a no-brainer, but you're gonna have to account for timing later on in the combo, and it might be a panic situation. So your muscle memory needs to spring into action and execute this flawlessly every time. So the input for this is forward, forward hold, very slight pause, down, down forward punch. Once you got that, we can move on. Okay, so this move has extreme blowback and wall bounce properties, but it will only work on a counter move. So don't be surprised if in a match the opponent won't be sent flying every time. If you're working on this in practice mode, make sure that you set counter to on in the options menu. Okay, so quarter circle backwards punch. Either punch is fine. Now the timing of the quarter circle backwards kick does make a difference. If you catch him early, both the dummy and Kula are going to be sent higher and take more time to come down. So you need to adjust the timing of the dash accordingly. If you catch him late, you have to start the dash sooner. Rule of thumb is start dashing right before her feet touch the ground, and immediately follow it with an X Dragon Punch quarter circle backwards heavy kick cancel. Now the trick here is to cancel the X Dragon Punch into quarter circle backwards kick as soon as possible. Otherwise the second kick of the quarter circle backwards heavy kick will whiff, and you won't be able to continue the combo. The X Dragon Punch hits multiple times, and you have to cancel it on the first hit. Do it very fast. Now the hard part is over. All there's left to do is catch the dummy with the quarter circle backwards light kick, chain it to forward light kick, then there's a slight pause, and finish with a heavy Dragon Punch. For this trial, I highly suggest you master the hop heavy punch timing after the diamond breath so that it comes out around 80% of the time on a consistent basis to avoid frustration. You can get as close as you can to the dummy and do an upwards hop instead of a forward hop. That should simplify things a little. Okay, so after the diamond breath, the opponent will be put in a stun state, which gives you the opportunity to do a hop followed by a heavy punch. Do not press the punch button as soon as you hop. You need to delay just a little bit. It has to hit at the summit or on the way down. Otherwise, you won't be able to link it with the light kicks. But don't do it too late either. I could go on and on for hours about the timing, but the best thing you can do is just experiment for yourself and of course, repetition. Keep trying until you get the timing right. After we get this out of the way, we can move on. Here we have 2 crouching light kicks, standard light kick cancel into quarter circle backwards X kick. As soon as you press the standard light kick, you gotta do the quarter circle backwards X kick. It has to be done very quickly, otherwise it will get blocked. Then follow up with a quarter circle backwards light kick, forward light kick. This next part can be tricky and it can take some time to get just right. The dragon punch needs to connect on the last frame possible. So you need to catch him late. Do it too early and it won't work. You really need to find the right balance here. 1 frame too early and the second hit of the quarter circle backwards X kick will whiff. 1 frame too late and you won't catch him. Okay, so after you get the timing down, we're gonna cancel the dragon punch into quarter circle backwards heavy kick, followed by quarter circle backwards light kick, forward light kick. And now we just repeat. Catch him with the dragon punch on the last frame possible, cancel into quarter circle backwards heavy kick, follow with quarter circle backwards light kick, forward light kick, slight pause, heavy dragon punch. No need to worry about the timing of the last dragon punch. The next trial is going to introduce you to the hyperdrive mode. So I'm going to say a few words about that first. This is one of the most important techniques in the game as far as combos go, and it's very important that you get familiar with its nuances before moving on. Now, what is the hyperdrive and how does it work? Okay, so the HD mode is activated by pressing light kick plus heavy punch, C plus D. And what it does is, it puts you in a state where you can do as many cancels, X special moves and supers as you want at 0 cost. No matter what you do, you won't use up any meter until HD mode is active. Unless you do a Neomax move, which will drain the meter completely. So until the green bar at the bottom left of the screen reaches 0, you're free to get as creative as you want with your combos, and unleash some of the most devastating maneuvers in the game. In addition, HD mode alters the properties of some moves, meaning you can now cancel into and from certain attacks that you couldn't cancel before. HD can be activated on its own or as part of a combo. There's 2 ways to activate HD during a combo, and we're gonna go over them right now. For the most part, they are interchangeable and they work for all characters, and it all boils down to personal preference. I use them both depending on the situation. I call them manual and automatic HD cancels. First, let's talk about manual HD cancel. Let's say the trial reads like this: heavy punch, HD, heavy punch. So you press heavy punch immediately followed by HD. This will make your character flash yellow and dash towards the opponent. And after your character dashes, you press heavy punch again. So you manually had to input the move after the HD activation. The automatic method, on the other hand, combines both the HD activation and the next attack into one input. For the same combo, heavy punch, HD heavy punch, you go heavy punch, slight pause, HD. With the introduction of the slight pause, the HD input functions as both HD activation and heavy punch. So two birds with one stone. The basic concept is the same as the max mode bypass technique from all the King of Fighters games. Just keep in mind that automatic mode only works if the next move after the HD is a heavy punch, which is usually the case in most King of Fighters 13 trials. Okay, so for this trial, we're going to be using the manual HD cancel. Jump in heavy kick, followed by a heavy punch, forward light punch in quick succession. And as soon as the 1-inch punch connects, quickly tap HD heavy punch in quick succession, followed by forward light punch. If you did it correctly, Kula will be doing the 1-inch punch while glowing yellow. If you want, you can tap HD twice instead of HD heavy punch. The game will read the second HD as heavy punch since you're already in HD mode, and heavy attacks take precedence over light ones. So just go jump, heavy kick, heavy punch, forward light punch, HD, HD, forward light punch. After you master this part, we can move on. Now we're gonna cancel the 1-inch punch into a quarter circle backwards light kick chained into forward heavy kick. Now remember in previous trials where we had to wait till the last frame to catch the dummy on its way down with the dragon punch? Here you can do the exact opposite. As soon as the game lets you do a heavy dragon punch, canceled into quarter circle backwards heavy kick. The quarter circle backwards heavy kick hits twice, but in this case we want the second kick to whiff. So as soon as you land, follow up with a heavy dragon punch, canceled into quarter circle backwards heavy kick, followed by a quarter circle backwards light kick, and repeat. Catch him with a heavy dragon punch, quarter circle backwards heavy kick, cancel, quarter circle backwards light kick, and repeat again. But be aware that with each cycle, you have a smaller and smaller time frame in which you can catch the opponent on his way down, so stay sharp. Okay, heavy dragon punch canceled into quarter circle backwards heavy kick, quarter circle backwards light kick chained into forward light kick, slight pause, heavy dragon punch, and we're done. This trial is one of the most valuable weapons in the arsenal as far as combos go, especially the startup. You can start this combo on one side of the screen and work your opponent into the opposite corner, where you can get as creative as you want. In Trial 8, we used the manual HD activation, but here in Trial 9, we're going to change things up and use the automatic mode. This trial is perfect to punish trigger-happy dragon punches and people who use moves with hefty recovery times too carelessly, as well as poking holes in people's defenses. Alright, so the new technique this trial introduces is the Dragon Punch, X Dragon Punch, X quarter circle backwards kick triple cancel. Sounds intimidating, but it's real easy. Now this is not done by inputting 2 dragon punches in quick succession like V-ism Street Fighter Alpha combos. Nah, in fact it's much simpler than that. If you want Kula to cancel her heavy dragon punch into an X dragon punch, all you gotta do is press both punches after the first dragon punch. It's that simple. So, forward, down, down forward, heavy punch, and then both punches. It has to be done really fast though. As soon as you press the heavy punch, you gotta press both punches again. Think of it as a form of blinking. Now all that's left to do is add a quarter circle backwards X kick to the mix. If you think about it, it's just like the regular Dragon Punch quarter circle backwards kick cancel from previous trials. The only difference are the added light and heavy punch after the Dragon Punch. When you break it down, it's no problem at all. Practice until you acclimatize to this new technique. It has to become second nature. Trust me, it will come in handy later on in this trial. Okay, so it starts with 2 crouching light kicks and then standing light kick. Get the timing right first. After the standing light kick, we're going to take a slight pause and press HD. Now, if you look at the trial's description, there's a heavy punch after the HD activation. But we can ignore it since we have used the automatic HD activation mode. Because of the slight pause we took after the standing light kick, the HD activation as well as the heavy punch happened simultaneously. In this case, the HD was both the HD activation and the heavy punch. The next step is the forward light punch pressed in quick succession after the HD. When the 1-inch punch connects, it's important that you take a very big pause. The pause is long enough for you to recollect your thoughts and get ready for the Dragon Punch, X Dragon Punch, X quarter circle backward kick cancel. Don't start Dragon Punching right away. Forward light punch, pause, Dragon Punch, X Dragon Punch canceled into quarter circle backwards X kick. Just make sure that you cancel the X Dragon Punch on the first hit. Now the hard part is over. When she lands on her feet, do a quarter circle backwards light kick, chained into forward light kick, Dragon Punch canceled into quarter circle backwards X kick, chained into forward heavy kick. That will send the opponent flying. Now just catch him with a quarter circle backwards heavy kick and adjust the timing accordingly for the quarter circle backwards light kick. Forward light kick, X Dragon Punch. That's it. Okay, this is the final trial. If you made it this far, I really doubt you still need my help, but anyways, here it is. This trial is all about timing and precision. The only new technique introduced here is the Super Neo Max cancel. So it goes like this. Quarter circle forwards heavy punch, which will freeze the opponent. Jump, heavy punch on the way down. Crouch and heavy punch. Slight pause, HD, quickly followed by X quarter circle forward punch, quarter circle forward heavy punch. Keep practicing until you get this initial part coming out consistently. Once you get this down, we're going to be adding the forward light punch. Now the trick here is to do the forward light punch as soon as the game will let you, otherwise it will whiff. So again, quarter circle forward heavy punch, jump, heavy punch on the way down, crouch and heavy punch, slight pause, HD, quickly followed by quarter circle forward X punch, quarter circle forward heavy punch, opponent goes flying in the air, and as soon as the game will allow you to, do a forward light punch. This will send the opponent flying again. And now you're going to have to catch him with the heavy Dragon Punch, quarter circle backwards light kick cancel. Keep in mind that you don't cancel the forward light punch into Dragon Punch. It's not a cancel, it's a juggle. So after the forward light punch, you gotta let the dummy go airborne and catch him on his way down with the Dragon Punch. I suggest you catch him with the Dragon Punch on the last frames possible. That will put the dummy in the most ideal state for the follow-ups. You can catch him on one of the last frames possible, but then the quarter circle backwards kick will send him flying higher, and you're not going to have a consistent steady tempo, which means you're going to have to compensate in real time with delayed dragon punches and unnecessary headaches. Alright, so after the forward light punch, you do a heavy dragon punch, quarter circle backwards light kick, cancel. Heavy dragon punch, quarter circle backwards light kick, cancel. Heavy dragon punch, quarter circle backwards light kick, cancel. Heavy dragon punch, quarter circle backwards heavy kick, cancel. All of the dragon punches need to connect on the last frame possible, or very close to that, especially the last one. If you do it too late, the second kick of the quarter circle backwards heavy kick will whiff, and you won't be able to continue the combo. Now, time the quarter circle forward punch so that you press the punch as soon as she lands on her feet. The quarter circle forward motion has to be done while she's still in the air, but the punch needs to be pressed as soon as she lands. This will activate the animation of the super, and now you're going to have to time the half circle backwards X kick as soon as the super connects. Meaning you do the half circle backwards motion while the animation of the super is still active, but press X kicks just as the super actually makes contact. If you did it correctly, the max cancel will occur. There's a relatively small window of opportunity here, so make sure that you practice the Neo Max cancel on the ground first to get familiar with the timing. Congratulations, you're done. Alright, that's it for today. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a message. I have more of these tutorials in the works, so stay tuned. I'm also going to be doing a custom combo tutorial for Kula sometime soon. I'll be explaining advanced combos and techniques that aren't present in the trials. The video will be shorter, more straightforward, and to the point, so no lengthy explanations, etc. Just straight up technical jargon. Alright, well, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.